to, I call the member for Shortland.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. And it gives me great pleasure to rise to speak on the member for Higgins' motion, a motion that acknowledges the spirit of Anzac and how Anzacs helped define us as a people and as a nation. That landing at Gallipoli in particular has been when Australia had barely been a nation for 14 years. It was a nation in its infancy, a nation that still saw itself as a British colony. And it was that landing by Australian soldiers on the rugged peninsula, Gallipoli, that was really the birth of Australia as a nation. The Gallipoli campaign was a major campaign. Australian and New Zealand troops fought under their own flags for the first time and their own commanders. They were fighting as Australians for Australia, and it's because of that that I think Anzac Day and that landing at Gallipoli is so special. And we can only just imagine the despair and marvel at the determination and spirit of those brave men who refused to take a backward step against almost impossible odds. And Mr Deputy Speaker, I think that it is a very appropriate motion that we have before us today. And I would like to take the opportunity to thank the Shortland Electorate Anzac Committee and acknowledge those people who are involved in the committee. We have Alan Bargwana, who I believe has been the president or the chair of this committee, the Mayor of Lake Macquarie, Jodie Harrison, Councillor Chad Griffiths from Lake Macquarie Council, Councillor Doug Vincent from Wyongshire Council, the Principal of Belmont High School, Jeff Robinson, and Peter Stevenson, OAM, the RSL State Councillor for the Newcastle Northern Region, as well as Warren Wellham, the Deputy Principal of North Lakes High, and Darren McManus-Smith, the RSL State Councillor for the Central Coast and Metropolitan Area, along with my dear friend, Colonel Jim Hodgkins, who he's retired and 90 years of age and made an enormous contribution to the consideration of the committee. I was pleased when the government increased the Anzac commemorative local grants by 25,000 to 125,000, but I was extremely pleased when the Labor government put in place this program, because it's a good initiative and one that will benefit and ensure that the memory of our Anzac and the memory of this particular event continue on in the memory and the history of our nation, although I think that that would happen regardless. Now, in short, the electorate, the committee's come up with a number of fantastic grants, and I'd like to thank everybody who has submitted proposals, and I'd like to particularly thank my staff member, Lisa McDermott, who's overseen this process. We have Redhead Sustainable Neighbourhood, and they put forward a proposal for 3 murals and plaques at Redhead Public School, and Redhead is one of the communities within Shortland Electorate who has a very strong history relating to involvement in both the First and the Second World War. Cahiba Public School has a proposal for an Anzac garden at the school, and East Lake Macquarie Historical Society is putting together a publication of local Anzac history and a book for Shortland. St Brendan's Catholic School on the Central Coast, a remembrance wall, remembrance garden and student booklets. Swansea RSL has put forward a fantastic proposal for a new Rising Sun Memorial on the foreshore of Lake Macquarie, and that will connect with a similar memorial in Western Australia. The Pelican RSL sub-branch is putting forward and supporting a proposal for commemorative medallions for all of Shortland electorate students. I'd like to add that Doyleson RSL did put in a proposal for a medallion, but they did it outside the guidelines. I really appreciate their contribution, but unfortunately the Minister could not support the proposal, and I thank them for going ahead and doing that regardless of the fact that the proposal be supported.
I thank the honourable member.